So we've taken a very quick look at how to draw boxes in perspective, two-point perspective, that is. And it might be interesting to note at this point the things that come in boxes and how those boxes might actually be constructed in a way to do depictions when you're drawing them. So that's what this video is about.
So up to this point, we've been talking about and only drawing cubes in perspective, and I wanted to try to give you guys a more practical application of drawing things that are actually cubes or rectilinear shapes that you might find. Some objects are made of cubes, and here's an example of an object that's made of cubes that are strung together. This one is essentially a cube uh, width and depth and about 4 cubes long tube of toothpaste. Here's another example, and yet a third. Lots of products that come in tubes have to ship in containers that are made in boxes like this to protect the tubes themselves from being punctured or damaged in transit. So, that's the reason for the box shape. You'll find ointments in these kinds of tubes too as well. Paints and things like that also come that way. Seriously, not everything comes in a box, but some things do, and this one's like a really huge shipping container. Other things are like really tiny little boxes like this. Now, proportionally, here's an example of a box that's made of cubes that's about 1 cube deep and about 4 cubes wide and 6 cubes high. Oddly enough, this little fella here is about the same number of proportions, even though it's a much smaller container, the thing that you've come to find matches in. And, just to be lighthearted, some things around the house that you find have to be measured pretty damn fast because they melt pretty quick. Now, here's a product container that's about 1 cube deep by about 3 cubes wide by about 5 cubes high. Hopefully not many of you see many of these anymore, and if you do, you might consider quitting. Here's another example of a cube or a box-shaped product that's about 1 cube deep by about 3 cubes high by about 5 cubes long. I'm showing you the very ghostly image here of the construction line for that product. We use them quite often. This one has a cylinder sticking out of the front. That's the lens. Sometimes it pops out when it's being used. We'll get to cylinders and ellipses soon. The back is a much more rectilinear shape, but it still has a couple of cylinders sticking out of it. You very often find digital cameras have little dials and controls that, control the depth of field and the settings and things like that, as well as the lens that sticks out of the front. Now, even some transportation products come in large boxes. Here's an example of one. I'm sure that you can find a lot of trucks and service vehicles are cube or come in cube or rectilinear shapes. But increasingly, even a lot of personal transportation vehicles are becoming more boxy and utilitarian in shape.
So I hope that this is of some help, and I will see you guys in the next video.